Good morning. It's really kind of sad that I have to stop all this, what sounds like incredible conversation that's going on, but hopefully throughout the rest of the day, you'll have some opportunity to connect and continue the discussions. So my name's David Davidson. I'm the Managing Director of Dining Services here at Harvard, and I want to welcome you to this, what we hope to be the first annual conference. And hopefully by the show of people that are here today, this may be true. There's an incredible agenda set forth for today that we're excited to be part of. And with that, it's going to be a great day, and I'm going to turn it over to Louisa, who is going to kick off the rest of the day. I'll be around throughout the day, so if there's any questions you might have about what we do here, I don't want to take that time now, but please feel free to have some conversations, and we can talk. So welcome. Thank you.
I really want to thank David. First of all, when we sat down sometime in maybe early October, and he said, yeah, it'd be kind of fun to work with you. And I'm like, yeah, it'd be really fun to work with you. And then I think he didn't know what he bargained for. But I really want to thank him. This is very exciting. And as most of you know, this has come together very quickly. And it's been tremendously gratifying to me and to my co-conspirator, Krista Martin from Harvard University Dining Services. Krista, stand up so people, Krista knows everything about the day. So if you have any problems, it's her. I want to talk a little bit about why we wanted to do this conference. And let me give you 2 minutes of history. My whole presentation is the Blitzkrieg presentation. About 5 years ago, my dear friend Jody Adams and I, Jody is sitting over there, the chef at Rialto and Trade. Well, we care a lot about a lot of different food things. And we thought, gee, of all the things that we care about, caged area feeding, local food, also, all sorts of big issues that we care about, hunger, nutrition. We ought to be able to do something about the food that kids get in public schools. How hard can that be? Well, we were naive, but we wanted to make a positive impact on something, and we've stayed focused. And for most of these last 5 years, we've brought together on a pretty much a monthly basis, with some big gaps, a group of people that we called Let's Talk About School Food. We called it the Breakfast Club. My organization that I started is called Let's Talk About Food, so we're talking Let's Talk About School Food. And that's essentially what we're here to do today. There's been many, many initiatives that's come out of it, and I think what we started to do is really sort of the underpinning of this conference, bring all the different stakeholders together to think about what we can do about the most regulated and constrained corner of the food world. I mean, bar none, I think there wouldn't be any disagreement that of all the things that have to do with food in America, school food operates within the most difficult set of constraints. And we all know, or we wouldn't be here today, that kids who don't eat well when they're young at the get-go, never truly catch up through the rest of their life. The second thing is that we really believe that social change requires collaboration. It's terrific to have very progressive school administrators and school nutritionists, and it's great to have interested parents and activated parents and policy people. But significant change requires everybody being on the same page, and that's really our goal for this conference, that we continue to recruit all the different stakeholders to be in the conversation, to sort of agree on future directions to get things done. Because if we're at odds with each other, or if we're not true collaborators, we're stuck. So that's what you'll find today, that we have multiple perspectives, and we hope everybody will work together for the better food for our kids. There's no ego in this. We're all within the constraints of what we know one can do. We're all focused on better food for the kids. Should be simple. So we have I see Ann Cooper laughing her head off. I told you we were naive. We are less naive now. We are less naive. As soon as I started hearing about all the reimbursement constraints, my level of technical information has soared. Here's my hope for the day, and I'm sure that Krista and David and everybody else share it. I ask each of you to meet somebody new. Say hello to your old friends, but meet somebody new, somebody who's across some aisle that perhaps you would not have necessarily spoken with before. And then learn something new. I think you will. And commit to something you'll do as a takeaway that you'll share in your professional world, your world of advocacy. We're going to ask you at the end of the day when we do the wrap-up, and I think the wrap-up is going to be very helpful. I know that for some of you it's a very long day, but I hope that, that you can persist till the end, because the point is to really think about where we go next, what we can do, how we can work together to essentially keep positive traction happening. So think during the day of what you want to say, what you would commit to. Small, large, measurable, not. And our goal for this conference is that this is, as David said, the first annual conference on healthy food fuels hungry minds. We wanted to call it that because we didn't want it just to be about school food, because we understand that the food itself is not the end. The end is kids who are eager, well-nourished, ready to learn, and ready to go on through the rest of their academic career and their professional careers, adding to the great world that is the United States. Let me give you some notes about the day. The morning session is devoted to general sessions, where I think each of the perspectives of the professionals, of the parents, of the advocators, of academics, of everybody else that I left out is represented on all of the panels. And I think the panels you'll find are excellent. And at the end of the day, we're going to come together in this room and talk about where we go from here. You know, our hope is that this year, most of us who are here, other than some invited speakers, are from Massachusetts. We hope next year it's regional. We hope ultimately that this becomes sort of a national model that we keep having at Harvard. Let me also say something else. The agenda is very tight. The thing that was very exciting for me is that everybody we asked to speak said yes, which is a testament, not to me, but to I think the power of the Harvard brand, but you know, whatever. So the speakers are great, and our hope is that we stay on track and on time. And as a result, we're encouraging attendees and sponsors to formulate questions and leave the speeches that we might make from the floor and longer questions for the lunch, for in between the sessions, and for general mingling at the final hour of the day. So we won't do a lot of Q&A. We have moderators who will, in fact, represent the audience and ask questions when the panels are done, but we won't do a lot of back and forth Q&A in the general sessions. In the afternoon sessions, which are more on specific tracks, they'll be more like working sessions, and that should be just fine. We have founding partners who are here, and I thank very much Katie Millett from the Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. It was a big deal for us and a big imprimatur for the Massachusetts Department of Education. Thank you. We have Harvard University and Harvard Dining Services. As I said, this would not have happened without the stewardship of the Harvard Dining Services. We have the Harvard Law School and Emily Broad and the Food Law Clinic. The Greater Boston Food Bank, been wonderful partners in supplying many of our volunteers today. Project Bread, we have some of the speakers that we have from Project Bread have been invaluable in constructing the agenda. And the Chef Ann Foundation, represented here today by our keynoter, who we're going to introduce in a minute, and Maura Fleischman. And again, I wanted to say a big thank you to Krista Martin. We also have sponsors, and the sponsors they came in at the last minute. When I say the last minute, that doesn't sound right at all. They came in willingly in a very short time frame. Our presenting sponsor is the EOS Foundation, and the EOS Foundation is a Boston-based private philanthropic foundation committed to breaking the cycle of poverty by investing in children's futures. And as you'll hear throughout the day, EOS has been very, very active in the breakfast in the classroom movement and in other day parts of school food that are not necessarily only focused on school lunch. Our silver sponsors are Trimark United East, and I thank you to Joe Tiebert, who's the president and a good friend. And for more than 60 years, Trimark United East has been the area's leading provider of food service equipment, supplies, and design. They're a division of Trimark USA, and their global size offers them the ability to bring operators a better level of service by combining hands-on support and local market knowledge. They've been just a tremendous partner in everything I've ever done. Food service professionals trust Trimark. Our other silver sponsor is North Coast Seafoods, and they are a distributor, they They're a third-generation first receiver, seafood processor, and distribute to national retail supermarkets. The chances are, if it swims, North Coast sells it, which I thought was my favorite part of the whole mission statement. If it swims, North Coast sells it. So I want to be really careful next time I'm in the water. The Blue Cross Blue Shield Foundation, we've been thrilled that they came in. Their mission statement is expanding access to health care for low-income and vulnerable residents. We would certainly assume and agree that feeding the hungry children of Massachusetts and New England is part of that mission. And we also have the Kendall Foundation. And the Kendall Foundation has been focused on a resilient food future. The Kendall Foundation recently, and I think Andy Kendall, if he's not here, he will be coming, and I'm thrilled. The Kendall Foundation has been very focused on local food systems that connect all of Massachusetts and New England, especially around New England Food Vision. We also have, as sponsors, General Mills, thank you very much, and Cargo Diamond Crystal Salt, and Revolution Foods, Jafco, Costa Fruit, and JJ Foods, which have provided some of the food for our snacks and breakouts and lunches. And if I left anybody out, come and yell at me. But I hope I didn't. My next task is one of my favorite tasks of the entire day, which is to introduce Chef Jody Adams, who's been, occasionally I do want to call her Saint Jody instead of Saint Joan. She has been the face of so many things. You're right. Excuse me, I screwed up. Jody, I'm going to say nice things about you in a second. But let me first introduce Katie Millette from the Department of Education. Thank you.